Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
And welcome into the sick ward here at our little video studio. Both Paul and I are a little under the weather, but we're going to persevere.
Yeah.
Make it through.
We are that dedicated to our craft.
That's right. I wanted to start off by saying that we have finally fulfilled the Kickstarter.
Yes.
And I say finally, we had until into February to do it, but we did send off the Become a Character reward tier, which is issues 10 through 12.
Yeah.
And these people paid $100 to have a character named after them or somebody they chose. And that we've got those off.
Yeah. So this will tie into our Kickstarter video, which is where we said that if you have rewards, you should deliver them on time.
Right. So we have met that with a couple weeks to spare.
Yeah.
Also wanted to talk about what's I think kind of big news for us is that we will have a signing on March 14th, which is a Saturday at Golden Apple Comic Books.
Yes.
Which is some people consider one of the greatest, most important comic book stores in the world.
Yeah.
Why they let us do it, I don't know, but we will be there for a couple hours on Saturday afternoon, March 14th.
Yeah.
And we will be hyping this as much as we can up until then.
Yeah.
But we want to let you guys be one of the first people to know what's going on.
Yeah.
We also wanted to talk a little bit about some other possible information, news coming up, I should say, about some work we're doing with Artith Merrick.
Yeah.
We had mentioned in a previous video about this Canon was going to do 1,500 copies of the first issue as part of a See What Our Printers Can Do kind of promotion.
Yeah.
And that got delayed until spring, and as far as I know, as far as we know, it's still happening this spring, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that happening. And they also want to work with Diamond, which is the major distributor of comic books, to serialize some of their comics, some of their creator comics. And one of them they want to do is Power Squared.
Yeah.
And the idea would be to have a monthly hardcover, reasonably priced, that would come out and be distributed by Diamond, and would include not only Power Squared, but whoever else they want to include. Let those people have their own little videos to talk about it. But that would be really big for us because one of our goals is to be distributed by Diamond.
Yeah.
Actually, our issues, but this would be a good step towards that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll come about as more information comes available. We will, of course, talk about it.
Yes.
Here on our little channel. We wanted to talk a little bit about Sonic Week, which we hyped last week.
Yeah.
As being on Trophy Unlocked, and I'll let you talk about it.
Okay, so Sonic Week went pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think we, again, put up a review every single weekday related to Sonic the Hedgehog. To kind of go through the character's sort of legacy as best as we can within 5 reviews,
right,
leading up to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
And that review appears today.
Yes.
Which is Sunday, the 16th of February.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this in the future, you can go back and find it on Trophy Unlocked.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Sonic the movie?
Well, I was unsure because of the initial trailer. The second trailer, I kind of warmed up to it. And then we finally saw the movie. It turns out it was pretty good.
Right, and I'm not somebody that's really... I mean, I have actually played briefly one of the games, but I'm not a huge, Sonic fan. It was enjoyable. I think they did a pretty good job of making it sort of open to anybody.
Yeah, like it's accessible to people who aren't familiar with it, but at the same time, it doesn't dumb it down.
Right.
And has enough for veteran fans to enjoy.
Right. So, but it is sort of a, and not that I'm going to suddenly go out and play the games or read the comics or whatever they have out, but it was not something I couldn't follow or figure out what was going on. So I give them credit for being able to do that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about I guess one of the challenges they had initially was they sort of screwed up the character design.
Yeah. Before they kind of made him look like this nightmarish humanoid abomination to God.
And so they fixed that and made him more like the character from the game.
Yeah.
Right.
And The new design stuck a lot closer to the what Sonic traditionally looks like, and it actually fit in well with the world. And there are a lot of convincing interactions between him and the human characters.
Right. Yeah, they did a pretty good job with that too.
Yeah.
And then I guess the human actors are mostly James Marsden and Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And how do you think they did?
They were pretty good too.
Right.
James Marsden is best known as like Cyclops
Okay.
in the X-Men movies.
Right.
So I guess arguably being in a movie like this is a step down. But
I think the paycheck was probably bigger. But
Yeah. But I think he played off of Sonic pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he and Ben Schwartz, who voiced Sonic, had kind of a good
Rapport.
Yeah.
I wonder how they filmed that in a way, because he has to be talking to somebody, reacting to somebody, and I mean, I'm curious how they did that.
Yeah, I would guess that when filming the scenes with Sonic, they still had something there for him to react to.
But playing off the dialogue, was it?
Yeah.
Was he hearing what Schwartz had recorded? I mean, I don't know. That's
it'd be
the magic of Hollywood.
It'd be interesting to find out.
I'm sure there'll be an article about how they did that. This looks like it's going to be a very big success.
Yeah, like $100 million globally.
Yeah, the opening weekend, which
Yeah.
is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Star Wars, but it's a pretty big opening.
And Jim Carrey was actually a pretty good fit for Robotnik.
Right.
He kind of fits the over-the-top personality of Robotnik, but he also manages to be more restrained than his typically hammy performances.
Now, I noticed in the movie that he had sort of a lieutenant kind of to harass and get him coffee and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that in the game, or is that somebody they've...
It's in other Sonic media in some form or another.
Okay.
In the cartoons, he had a human sidekick named Snively in one of them.
Yeah.
But then another one, he had two robot companions named Scratch and Grounder. And then later he had Orbot and Cubot.
Okay. So he's had a kind of a second lieutenant, but not a humanoid necessarily?
Yeah.
Right.
But still someone to, harass.
And
do his bidding.
All right. They've set it up for a sequel, and if the box office is as big as they say, it will have a sequel probably.
Yeah.
In 3 to 5 years, as these things seem to go. You remember the story exactly, right? So it was a fun movie, and I'd recommend it to people to go see.
Yeah.
I'll say it. It's the best film released this year that we've seen so far this year.
Yeah.
It's the only film we've actually seen that's been released. Anyway, so I guess that wraps it up.
So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, ring the notification bell to make sure you actually get these.
Right.
Because that's how YouTube's system works. And sharing and commenting also help with channel growth.
Right. So until next week, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
And this has been A Week in Power Squared.